Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, good. You can hear me. Somebody was in a minute ago, and there's Michelle. She's back again. And then she left, so I thought maybe there was something wrong. So I logged back out, logged back in. I love Zoom and technology. Good morning,
Hi,
Michelle.
back. I think I can hear you now.
Oh, good. I got worried after you left. I went ahead and left too. I was like, I'm not sure what's going on. Good morning, Jay. Oh, it's connecting.
I put my screen over here.
You're muted. Oh, he's got to get tech help. He has a whole house full of IT people.
Oh, wow.
Good morning.
Good morning. Tell Miranda the age of your youngest IT person.
7.
That's awesome.
How is everyone today?
Doing okay.
Great.
Does anybody know, is it going to rain all day or was it just this morning?
I don't know.
It's still going over here.
It is here too. I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, I like it when it rains. It's not bad.
Well, and Christina at Tidal Alliance, her husband, Steven, he works for True Green. And then in the fall and winter, he just does. So if you know anybody that needs, some odd job kind of things, that's what he does. So he came and did my leaves this week. So it's really not a problem now that it's rained because the leaves are all gone. So that's awesome. I don't know. I didn't count the bags, but there's somewhere probably close to 65 or 70 bags of leaves out front.
That's a lot.
I've had 2 down. So I think I have 23 trees.
You have a lot of land?
No, it's right at a half acre. It's just a lot of trees. I used to, when the kids were home, we did it. We had fun doing it, but it wasn't so fun when they left me and I had to do it all by myself. Let's give everybody a couple minutes. Somebody tell me what they're doing for Thanksgiving.
Working.
You have to work on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I won't have Thanksgiving off probably for another 7 years.
You aren't going to start at the post office in 7 years at the rate you're going.
Give or take about 4.
Okay. Okay, dear.
Running a 5K.
You're running a 5K. That's awesome.
Well, maybe walking, but anyway, I'm doing a 5K.
We are walking too. We do the drumstick dash every year. And so this year they let us just buy our shirts, a walk, you know what? So we're going to go to Garfield Park and do our own instead of being around a whole bunch of people.
Gotcha.
I know they cut back the number of people, but I didn't want it. So I'm with you, but I'm not running. No running. No more running for me. Anybody else got fun Thanksgiving plans? Something, it's a different kind of year. I don't get to see my daddy. I'm trying to talk my daddy into Zoom.
We're just eating with our close family, our immediate family.
Awesome. All right. Well, we got a few people. There'll probably be some stragglers come in, but we can get started the way we always get started.
Do it.
Everybody's got their win and their challenge and how we did with our conversation goal this week.
Well, I'll have 2 listings coming up in December.
Awesome.
I've got, I don't have the appointment set, but first week of December, we're getting past Thanksgiving. So I'll have the appointment set and they want to have them listed by the end of December. So that's my win for the week.
Fabulous. That's a big win.
Challenge is DocuSign for me. just really having struggles with my business email connecting with KW when I went round and round with, I don't know who else to ask and help for. So I'm gonna make another email because I don't want to use my personal email.
Your KW email doesn't work.
It won't work because I used DocuSign on a previous closing with another seller agent. They used DocuSign, so I had to sign into DocuSign to complete paperwork. And so because of that account, I can't get it connected through KW because when I try to connect through KW, it says I already have an account, but I've disconnected it. I've confirmed it with DocuSign. I've been through DocuSign people 3 or 4 times and they're telling me you have no account anymore with us. You'll have to go through KW. It has to be on their side. And I've sent messages through the command help support center.
Have you talked to Scott Leroy Marketing?
No.
All right, Scott Leroy Marketing is who sets this up originally. Do you
Okay.
remember them?
Yeah,
Right?
I've been watching some of their videos.
So I'm just problem solving. I'm not confident that they can help, but I'm just trying to
Okay.
think of a solution. And
Yeah,
because they set it up for us originally, they may
Okay.
be able to fix it.
all right.
So I would reach out to Scott Leroy Marketing.
All right, I'll make a note of
Melissa?
that.
Melissa,
Yes,
I had the same problem with my DocuSign and everything, and Scholarroy Marketing and the KW support. It did take a little while for them to get back with me, but they did finally get my whole email, DocuSign, and all that stuff figured out for me. So you just got to kind of like keep emailing them and call them actually, and they'll get back with you. But it did take a little while. I'll say that, but I just kind of stayed with it.
okay,
finally
I
got-
will,
yeah,
I will,
yeah.
I'll stay with it. I've been working on this for almost 2 months.
Yeah, so actually, I didn't want to say, but that's how long it took me. It took about 2 or 3 months before I actually got my whole DocuSign
Lordy.
and my KW connected, because I was going back and forth with zip forms and and stuff from the other company I was with. So it kept kind of
Okay,
messed me up a little bit, but then they finally got it figured out for me. But it did take 2 or 3 months.
okay, well, I just didn't know any other solution, but yeah, I'll keep waiting on them, but in the meantime, I guess I'll just set up another Gmail so I can work through DocuSign.
So you can get your documents done, yeah. And then you'll just have to get them into command, just like you would if they were sending, the other agent was sending them to you or whatever.
Right, right.
But definitely try Scott
I
Leroy
will.
Marketing. You went to them too, right, Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely try that out. All right, Melissa. So how were you this week on your conversation goal?
Well, I would say I didn't do so well. I did have conversations, but I didn't meet my 6 a day. I did have a lot, but I don't think I met my 6 a day. So I'm getting about 3 good days a week. I homeschool, and so I have some challenges there. Not trying to put out there excuses, but it does kind of make it tough for me. If I get
Oh,
caught
I
up-
can't imagine.
get caught up at home and
sympathize.
I don't get out the door, which my girls are old enough, I can make sure they have their instructions and leave. But if something holds me up at the house, it's over. My day's finished.
What would be a possible solution to help with that?
Well, just having instructions the night before laid out for the kids, the girls, and just depending on them to do what I'm asking them to do. So
How old are they? again? I
I've
don't
got a
remember,
senior
Melissa.
and a freshman. And
Oh, good. Well, this is going to be good practice for them because they're going to have to figure this out for themselves in
it's
a little
mostly
while.
my freshman who if I just don't stay on
I
her,
remember.
well, it's just free time and playtime. And so, well, it'll be all right. I just told her, look, you either do it now, or you do it later. Pay now, pay later.
Exactly. It still has to get done. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm excited about your 2 listings. That shows that having the conversations is working. Imagine if you double the number
And
of
my challenge, I'm
conversations.
coming up into the challenge of just making, just getting out there with new people now. Just reaching out in new places. So
Awesome. Okay, who's next? Win, challenge, and how you're doing with your conversation goals. Those of you that haven't been with us before, it can be whatever goal that you have, but we have been working on setting our goals based around the number of conversations that we have. So I just want you to know what we're talking about because I know we have lots of new people this week. All right,
I'll
who's
go
next?
next. My win for the week is I got my listing live and now it's pending. And
Blank and you
yeah,
miss it.
exactly. And then my challenge was just kind of, heck, to be honest, as soon as I listed it, it was like 15 minutes later, we got a showing request for 30 minutes, later. And I was like, oh no, I don't even have a sign in the yard. So I'm hustling, trying to get the sign in the yard and everything. And I just get the sign in the yard, talk to my seller, and there's the agent for the showing in the driveway. So got that completed. But I mean, it's been pretty smooth with Carla helping me out. So coaching has been awesome. And then as far as conversations, I possibly have another listing, coming up soon. She wants me to call her after Thanksgiving. So we'll see what happens. But
Fabulous.
thanks for all the coaching and support. Appreciate it.
So were you able to, despite your listing, and we talk about this all the time when we get something under contract, we can't take our foot off the gas on our lead generation. Did you manage to keep them both in place?
Yeah, I mean, my side thing that I do. So it's like I'm always trying to lead gen on both
Okay.
sides. So
you've got a good
yes.
time block for yourself that you've protected. That's the time that I do that. Yeah.
Yes, like mainly in the mornings is when I do the lead generations and stuff. So
Fabulous. Good job. All right. Who's next?
I'm out of here.
Oh, good luck with your COVID test.
Yep. I'm gonna.
Wait, one more thing. Did you get calls yesterday?
No, I didn't get any.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep. I got about a 45-minute drive. So see you guys later.
All right, who's next?
I'll go.
Good morning, dear.
Good morning. My win for this week is I think I might have I'm pretty sure I have a referral for Florida, so around Daytona. So he's supposed to give me a call within the next couple of days. He was actually working with an agent here, but they were under no agency contracts. So I made sure of that before I had him call me. But yeah, so he's looking for a place down in Daytona. So that's good. I've got a win there. And then challenge is just mostly been time blocking this week, and conversations have been good. I don't think I've met him fully, but doing really well on conversations. Like I said, I try to fit it into everything I talk about in some way, shape, or form. So yeah,
Very
that's good. Me this week.
So what will help you? Well, next week's going to be a little rough. So next week, when we talk about our 411s, next week, if you're taking Thursday, Friday off, and this is a good opportunity for me to tell you that we won't have group coaching. We won't have a workshop next Saturday. But I don't want to interrupt your weekend and your holiday. So you get your weekend next weekend. But next week's going to be a shorter week. However, it's a gift week, right? Because there's a lot of opportunities for conversations around Thanksgiving, right? You could add a little bit extra time maybe in your Monday, Tuesday time block to call people and tell them how thankful you are for them, maybe, or something like that. So, but Amber, what's you mentioned time blocking. Is that what you're identifying as your gap to be able to get the number of conversations in that you need to meet your goals?
Well, it's more, it's not even the number of conversations, it's my lead gen time. So that's like my biggest issue there is my lead gen time. And so I think that actually next week might be a good thing, even though it is a holiday, but I've got those couple extra days off to where I can, get some, I bought Christmas cards this year. I could do my Christmas cards Friday or what, you know what I mean? So I think it's mostly the being at work for the 8 hours a day and then having to come home and lead gen. So I think it'll be actually a gift next week. Maybe I can get myself caught back up.
Awesome. I will tell you that you're never caught up. And when you get
Yeah.
caught up, that means that you quit, really.
Yeah.
It was one of my first lessons. If you guys, you guys have probably already heard it from me before, but there's an awesome podcast called Everything Life in Real Estate that Len McKissick and Dana Gentry do. And they talk a lot about life gets messy when you're being successful, and you just have to embrace that being messy. We can't keep all the balls in the air. We just have to make sure we keep the glass ones in the air, right? Okay, who's next?
I'll go. Good morning.
Good
Well,
morning, Kim.
well, let's see here. Wins for the week would be that I did have a lot of great conversations this week. A lot of positive ones. Like I said, I had a couple of individuals at work that are definitely, like I said, I had one that said that they had someone that they knew that was actually looking to buy and that they would actually give me the information. I'm looking to talk with them on Monday. They were going to reach out to them and give them my information because they said, you know what, that's really interesting that you said that because I do have a friend that's been looking and talking about it. And I know that they're not working with anybody. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm going to keep that positive conversation going. Come Monday, I'm going to reach right back out to them, say, hey, how'd the conversation go with your friend? Can I get their information so I can reach out to them personally and kind of offer my services? So looking forward to something to that. And like I said, I had quite a few positive conversations this week. And I can say that because on the Thanksgiving thing that you just mentioned about that opening up the doors for it, that has actually been my door opener this week, and having conversations with people at work more so about real estate and things, because we've opened it up about what are you doing for the holidays, who's, and that kind of thing. And then we just have led into it. So been a lot of positive feedback, made me feel really good, made me want to keep pushing forward. So that's been good. Some great conversations on the phone as well. So I'm really feeling great about my road forward and knowing that something is going to open up for me. So that has been great and been helping me push forward. My
Awesome.
as you know, has been trying to just get his
Hang
stuff
on.
going, get him straightened out, and working that in my week past schedule. And I'm almost done with getting him settled for moving from Ohio. So
You got a little extra thing in your time block calendar there.
Yes,
Unexpected
absolutely. But
things.
like I said, we're getting there with him, trying to get him settled in his own spot and everything. So that is my biggest challenge, just getting my dad back here and getting him settled. But it's all looking good. And like I said, the positive, I'm actually looking forward to Thanksgiving week because you're right, it will open up even more conversations with the folks that I haven't talked to in a while when we're kind of catching up for the holiday.
Awesome, dear. You're doing an awesome job, especially with what you had thrown on your plate. I am so impressed. But I want to make sure everybody heard what she said, right? So she's having these really good conversations. This is why there's a bold law that is slowly then suddenly, right? Because you have to put all of these things in place. It's great when you pick up the phone, you make a call and they say, yes, I'm ready to buy or sell, right? That's awesome. Those are gifts, right? But they don't all come that way. And that's fine, right? Because you're going to be in business a lot longer than the next 30 days or 60 days. So just think of it that way. You're filling your pipeline into the future. Won't it be nice when you know that you've got your opportunities all set up and you got your pipeline so that you have a cushion into, let's say right now, you have a cushion into June. You have enough people that have told you that they're going to be looking to buy or sell next year that you have your entire pipeline filled through June. Wouldn't that feel awesome?
Yes.
That wouldn't mean we stopped though, right? Somebody tell me I didn't just give you an excuse to stop.
Oh,
You can take a
absolutely.
week off. If you get 6 months full in your pipeline, then you can take a week off.
No.
All right, who's next?
I can go next.
Hello, Bobby. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. Doing great. So my wins for the week is that I'm so excited. I finally found Brandco, a part of KW, kind of the Scott Leroy thing, to do my whole branding package, so I can take that off my plate because that's been like really making me crazy. So that's great. I also got to see my last Ignite with Linda Cecil, and she's just so amazing. And I missed part of it, so I'm going to go back and watch it again. Fortunately, it is recorded, so that's amazing. Challenges was that I went back and looked and saw why I wasn't so successful this week, and I realized I had over 16 hours of Zoom time between Ignite and between Linda Cecil, between doing the thing all day, with what was his name on Tuesday? I forget his name, but doing business planning. I was with him for 6.5 hours. It's just like, wow, there's so much, right? So that's kind of a challenge. And then last night, I realized at 7 o'clock, I was going through the file on the house that I have that's closing a week from Monday. And I went, oh my God, the repairs notification is due tonight. So I literally had to leave and go. I had just gotten the inspection report at 11 o'clock yesterday. So I had to go and go through the whole thing, fill out the report. I didn't even have a copy of it. Fortunately, I found it online at KW Louisville East in our intranet. So I was able to put on the form, print it out, run out to the people's house, have them sign it, and then, fill it out, and then come back and fax it over to the other agent. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was crazy. So hopefully I did everything right. And then I think what was the last thing? Conversations?
Yeah, had to do with your conversation goals, or for you, it might be database entry / conversations.
Yeah, it was not good. It was a really rough week, so it wasn't good. But I'm prepared. I mean, I've got my ducks in a row. As I told you, you already know I had like 80 something as of Monday that I'd worked on over the weekend. So I can't say it wasn't good, right? Because I had 83, but from when we talked on Monday, it's been bad.
All right. So 16 hours of Zoom. So if I were to ask you what the gap was this week, what kept you from feeling like I think you answered that for me without me asking the question, because you said
for sure.
Hours of Zoom. We could be full-time students at Keller Williams. That's one of the downsides. If there's a downside to working for a company that has amazing training, right, is that we could be full-time students. So remember a couple weeks ago, and we're going to have a refresher where we talk about the 80-20 rule. Do you guys all know you guys remember when we talked about the 80-20 rule? So we have to be careful. So what we need to do, and it's hard when you're a new agent because you have so much to learn, right? You have so much to learn, but you said you finished up Zoom Ignite. You finished up Ignite now, Bobby.
Yes.
So,
fine.
Other than Ignite, we have coaching. And then the only other thing that I would focus on is contracts classes and contracts practice.
Yes.
So practicing writing purchase agreements, practicing writing. And that's really not the only training, but that would be the main focus for training. And we have to pick. I have the same problem with Zoom. I had Paul Masterminds this week, and I had to miss Gene Rivers, and I love Gene Rivers. So it broke my heart that I didn't get to do Gene Rivers because I had Paul Masterminds. So we have to pick and choose sometimes.
Right.
The other thing that you mentioned that I want to make sure that I point out to everyone is calendaring. So as soon as you get a purchase agreement, as soon as you get something under contract, right, you need to go in and you need to put all of those things on your calendar, those deadlines, however it's going to alert you. And I give myself a cushion, right? So if I have to have something done in 14 days, I put it on my calendar at 12. Right. And then somewhere down below, I'll tell myself you actually have 2 more days. So I don't have a heart attack. But I always give myself a cushion. And that doesn't mean that we don't all have to do things last minute. You didn't get the inspection report until the day it was
11. Right.
Right. So the other thing is I tell my buyers, because my buyers order their own inspection. So I tell my buyers, I lie to them like I do my son. Right. If we have to be somewhere at 6 o'clock, I tell my son 4:30. Right. I tell my buyers the same thing. We have to have this by Friday. I'm not going to tell them Friday. I'm going to tell them Wednesday. Right. So that way I don't end up that way. So that's my bit of advice on that challenge.
Thank you.
Awesome. Who's next?
I can go next.
Hi, Shelley. It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you. I was on the call last week, but was showing properties, so I was driving and was very quiet
I remember.
listening. It's too hard to drive. For me, it's too hard to drive and talk and be engaged. So
It's
I was really
not
just-
safe. And so that's why I pick on you either.
that's why I was just listening. So good morning, everybody. I'm Shelley Gardner. I'm with Keller Williams Louisville East with Bobby and Chelsea. We're all in the same office, and Chelsea and I are on the same team. And Melissa Beasley is new on our team, which is great. So I'm with Bob. I'm in the same boat with Bobby. It was Zoom City the entire week. I also finished Ignite, and I went through and finished it for the second. I did it second time
Awesome.
because I feel like as a new agent, oh my God, there is just so much, and it's so overwhelming. And we had just transferred to KW in May from another brokerage. So I took it, and then I took it again, and I've been an agent about 1.5 years now. So it was much more, I feel like it was much more applicable to me now than it was the beginning of the summer, because we've taken it a couple times now. But on Zoom all week. Gene Rivers on Tuesday all day. I also head a BNI in the town where I live. So, you know, I have a lot of networking, so BNI and then chamber networking. So I was on the computer the entire week. I put a house under contract Tuesday morning. I have a third shifter. I was out showing him houses at 7 o'clock. So, yeah, right.
Oh, goodness.
But so that's my win. I put a house under contract. My challenge now is he now has cold feet. Yeah. So he told me last night he thinks he's in over his head. And I know, I've known him for 10 years. He's a friend of mine. So I feel like it's cold feet because he's that kind of guy. You have to kind of gently shove him where he needs to go, gently nudge him, but cold feet. So working through that today. And I have a question about the conversation goal.
Okay.
So what kind of goals have folks set around conversations? Because I can make calls all day long, but to get people to answer the phone is, you know, that's a win in itself. So what kind of conversations are these folks setting?
Well, Shelley and Chelsea and Melissa, we will start that next week. So what we work from is we work a little bit backward when we set our goals. So we start with how much we want to earn, right? And then how many closings that means we needs to have, and then how many contracts that means that we need to have under contract. And that means how many appointments we need to have. And from how many appointments we need to have, we can go down to how many conversations we need to have. And these are conversations that are moving us forward towards an appointment. Now, how do you suppose we move forward towards an appointment in a conversation?
Make sure they're pre-approved. Tell them you want an appointment. You know,
Ask them, right? Let's make an appointment. Let's get together, right? That's a conversation moving forward to your appointment. So that's what we do, because that's what we're in control of, right? We aren't in control of the number of people that will set an appointment with us. We're not in control of anything above that, but we are in control of the number of conversations that we can have where we ask for an appointment, or we're looking towards having an appointment. It doesn't have to be I asked for an appointment. And when we go through the numbers, you'll see why, because it's somebody jump in and tell me how you feel about your conversation goals, guys. Share with Shelley and Chelsea and Melissa, those of you that have set your conversation goals. Has that helped you focus during the week on what you need to do?
I would say, yeah, it definitely helps us know where we're at and know where we're going. So it kind of helps us stay less overwhelmed, I would say.
And then Shelley, Chelsea, Melissa, and any of you that are doing primarily leads instead of Sphere. And even with Sphere, we can do it too. We can even come down one more step and we can do a number of dials, right? But we have to figure out what your conversion rates are to get to a number of dials, because that's something else that you can control. But those are the only two things. I mean, you can set a goal for the number of closings that you have, and you are indirectly in relation to that, but you can't decide on a weekly basis how you're doing based on the number of closings that you want, unless you want to have one closing a week, and then that would work, right? But we have to figure out what causes that to happen, and that's how we set our goals. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Awesome. And then I have some advice about cold feet. Can I share that with you?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
cold feet, and everybody probably has heard this from me that's been with me for a while, but we start educating our buyers on the front end that they're going to have cold feet, right? When we do our buyers presentation and we go through the learning opportunity for them to learn what the process is going to look like. One of the steps I have on my list is that you're going to get cold feet. So, and then I tell them, you have to promise me when you get cold feet that you have to sleep on it. Give it 24 hours, and then we need to have a conversation. But you have to promise me you're not going to panic. And I know that's going to be a hard promise to keep, but I want you to remember that everybody has this happen, right? Everybody has this happen. So that way, when it happens, I can say, yep, we talked about that. That's step number 4 or whatever step it is on the list, right? And so that takes a little bit of the steam out of it, right? If everybody feels this way when they go under contract, that makes it a little less biting for them. And then my second piece of advice is, instead of telling him all of the reasons why he shouldn't have cold feet, help him self-discover. Right? Because if he self-discovers it on his own, he will buy into it a whole lot better. And so the way we help people self-discover is we be in curiosity and we ask questions. So Shelley, do you know what his goals are? What was his big reason? What did he really want? Why was he buying a house?
Well, he wanted to save money. So
Okay.
I reminded him of that last night, how he was going to be saving money with a mortgage as opposed to paying rent, because his mortgage is going to be less than his rent.
Okay. So good job. You've reminded him that. Now what's his fear?
He said last night, so we were texting because he was at work. This was, I don't know, 11 or 12 o'clock last night. He said he was in over his head. He felt like he was in over his head. So I'm not sure what his fear was. So this morning when I woke up, I texted him and asked him, was he still awake? Because he goes to bed about 8 o'clock in the morning. And he said, just barely. And I said, when you wake up this afternoon, call me before you go to work. So I was also thinking, so I'll find out what his fear is, but I was also thinking maybe for him to make a pro and con list. Is that a good idea? Okay.
It's a perfect list. It's a perfect, I love lists. I love that idea. But also when you ask him what his fear is, he may not identify it as a fear exactly. So ask 3 or 4 questions, maybe go 4 deep. Like, let's say he said he's in over his head. Well, tell me a little bit more about that. What do you mean by over your head? Right? Because you're assuming what that means. So ask him, tell me a little bit more about that. And then whatever he tells you, then say, tell me a little bit more about that, right? And keep asking him so he can dig down deep to find out what that one fear is.
Well, he had asked, the conversation started with, do I have to pay for the appraisal?
Okay.
Because that's going to be the next step, is the appraisal. And I assume, I feel like the repair request list is going to be manageable. So I said yes, and it's, I told him the price, and that's when he said, I think I'm in over my head.
Okay.
So,
Do you know about Keller Mortgage?
no.
Okay.
No.
Okay. We need to talk about Keller Mortgage. We're going to move on to everyone else, and we'll come back at the end. Okay. And we'll talk about Keller Mortgage, because that's Keller Mortgage has no loan origination fees. And what's the purchase price?
I have to look. I've got houses under other houses right now.
Over 150?
No.
No. Okay. Well, no loan origination fee. So that's 1%. It's going to save him on the closing costs. So that will more than cover the cost of the appraisal.
Okay.
Okay. So we can talk about Keller Mortgage, or maybe I'll put that on my list for us to talk about on Wednesday.
That's fine, because that's not really talked about in this area, Keller Mortgage.
Well, I'm going to work on that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right. Who's next?
I can go next.
Good morning, Chelsea.
Good morning. I had, just before I go, I wondered if you could just talk about really quickly, if you have someone who you feel is having cold feet, but says like they canceled the appointment because they're feeling sick, but then, you met them the day before, so you're not so sure, but you've seen these tendencies that they probably are getting cold feet. how do you handle that when they're not really, they give me some type of reasoning and I have to believe them, but then I'm not so sure,
Well, you have to believe it. That's part of the process, so then there's that. We think we're ready. We're not quite ready. Because it is a big, huge decision, right? It's the same thing. Remind them why they wanted to buy a home, right? And just ask them, are you having any second thoughts? Is there anything we need to talk about?
Okay, super.
It's your job. You become how many different hats you get to wear, right? You become kind of a counselor. Not
Right.
really, because you have to have a license to be a counselor, but you can coach them. You can be their coach. You can be their educator, right? And you can help them find within themselves what is causing them an issue.
Okay, great.
Awesome. So that's your challenge. What's your win for the week?
Yeah, so my win, I had a really great conversation last night with a buyer who's pre-approved and ready to rock and roll. And so feel very excited about that. And also she's got to sell her house as well. So I'm hoping for 2 transactions there.
Yay!
Yeah.
All right. And then we'll talk about goals. We'll get started on that.
Great, thank you.
All right. Who's next?
I can go.
Good morning, Miranda.
Good morning. So
2
what's
seconds.
that?
Miranda was the November productivity coaching client of the month. And so we did a video yesterday.
Yeah.
You guys will have to be watching out for that.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was a win for sure. That was pretty cool to be recognized for that. First, I was gonna say, when you guys were talking about just like the cold feet topic, I am a counselor. So that's my day job, and that's what I think of every time is like with buyers and sellers, is that's a huge part of this job, is just to kind of recognize like where somebody is and just kind of lead them through that. So that was a great point. I think everybody kind of has that job they have to do as a realtor too. But I would say my win is everything's cleared to close for my listing next week. So that was exciting to get that cleared and scheduled. It's a big thing. And a challenge that I had was I met with a buyer, a couple that wants to buy next year. And part of my day job is just to really pay attention to people's nonverbals. And, that's a big part of counseling too. So I didn't feel like it went very well based on just like body language and tone and things like that, especially with the husband in that family. And so my husband works with his wife, they're coworkers. And so the next day he, said, "Oh, how'd it go?" and everything. And she was like, "It was awesome. Like, we loved it," because I felt like I totally overwhelmed them based on like the body language. And so that was challenging for me to just kind of look past my own assumptions, because I was trying to think like, okay, I'm just giving them the information like any other agent would be giving them this information. But I felt like I just, ruined the chance and overwhelmed them. And then she said, "Oh, it went so well," and was explaining how like her husband is a cop and he had got an email right before that was like really stressful. So she was like, and I told him like I felt like he wasn't present, in the meeting and all these things. So there was a lot of different stuff going on for them that I assumed was because of what I was talking about. So that was a challenge for me to just kind of, self-reflect and something to kind of think about for the next meeting I have is, to know that not everything is, you can't just assume that it's because of something you're saying. So that was a learning lesson.
I love that. That was a good lesson for everyone.
Yeah.
You remember the VIP form? Some of you might not have seen it yet, but the VIP form that I do, that I tell you when we do it, that I do it with my my clients as well, where I ask, if someone were to say this about you, are you more socially social, personal? I can't remember the 4 categories. You guys remember the last one is perfectly accurate and cautious. Do you remember that? It's a very quick version of the DISC.
Yes. Okay.
The reason why I do that, and I always try to figure that out about each one of my clients, is where they fall on that DISC profile, because it's going to help me. When you were telling me this, Miranda, I was wondering what his DISC profile would be. That's what was in my brain, because sometimes it's that as well, right? Especially if you have a wife and a husband who profile completely differently, right? How you navigate the two of them is a lot of fun.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. And I even saw him check his phone, and it didn't bother me because I knew he was a cop, and I could kind of see like his demeanor change after that. So I was trying to think like, okay, maybe something popped up on his phone that made him like that. But then sure enough, that was the case. So
And sometimes you get a couple and one is all gung ho and the other
right.
one is kind of not quite there yet, right? And
Right.
that can happen as well. So you
Which,
gotta
yeah,
work through that. Yeah.
I think that was the case anyway. So that just added to it. But
Now you can ask one of those questions. You can't choose 7. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being we want to move. Oh, I'm not ready to move. I don't think that's going to be 10 years from now. And 10 being let's get under contract. I want to move tomorrow. Where are you? And then and 7's not an option because 7's the cop out, right? So 7's not an option.
that's a good idea.
And then I ask each one of them, and I always start with the one that I think has got the reluctance.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So if the other one goes first, then I'm not going to get a true read, right?
Yeah. That is a great point.
That's one of my tools in my toolbox that I love a lot. All right, Miranda, how you doing on your goals this week conversations?
I thought that went really well. I had several like just different leads, like somebody that came through. I've had a couple of people come through land.com for my listing.
Okay.
Saying like, I want, information on this. And then I've emailed and then kind of had some conversations with them about like, well, this property isn't available, but maybe I can help you find something else. And the two have not been working with an agent. So like, that's kind of
fabulous.
Been some conversations I've been having. And then I told you the other day that I finally just happened to talk with somebody at the school that I work at, that I'm an agent. And so that was a good conversation to actually let that whole share of people that I know
with everyone, because that's a really good aha for everyone to hear.
Yeah. So I work in a school a couple of days a week as a school counselor, and so one of the teachers, well, I don't really see the teachers very often because they are just crazy busy, but we were both like microwaving lunch at the same time, and she said, yeah, I'm so stressed. I close on a house next week. And so I just said, oh, I totally understand that. I do, I'm an agent. And she was like, what? I didn't know that. If I had known that, I would have used you. Which she had been looking like with somebody throughout the summer and things like that. So, but, I was going to follow up and like email her and give her my card and say, if you have somebody else that, because she was not crazy about her agent. She felt like the agent she worked with was kind of pushy and didn't really listen to her. So I figured that she might be someone to even just refer me in the future, because I don't think she would want to refer the agent she worked with, unfortunately. So, but that was a good learning moment that I should talk about that more at school with, the 45 teachers that are there every day. So
if we don't tell everyone, they don't know, right? And if they don't know, then we can't help them. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, who's next? I'm going to start calling.
I'll go. So my wins were I did have 2 closings yesterday, so that was kind of cool. One of them was a dry closing, so that was the first of that, but that went all right. As far as my conversations, they've been pretty productive. I've talked to a few different people, passed out my cards, looked a few different more times, and got a couple of, I won't say appointments, but which is kind of part of my challenge. I talked to a for sale by owner, and my challenge is part of my challenge because he's saying he wants one price for, hold on for a second.
Carla, while Jay, I'm sorry, Jay, while you're having your conversation with your kids, I guess, what you said you had a dry closing?
Yeah, it was a dry closing.
What does that mean?
So they did it without the money. I guess that's the part of it, the funding, without the funding. So they, the two, my buyer and the seller, so he signed the paperwork, then he left. And then my buyer came in and he signed the paperwork, but then the money won't get funded until Tuesday. So they called it a dry closing because the funds weren't, I guess, wired at that point in time. So that was different.
So it's like a two-step closing. Sometimes you even get a three-step closing because sometimes you got out-of-state issues. And so, you have to get all the pieces to the puzzle together. So a creative title company will make things happen within people's schedules.
Yeah, it was the credit union that my buyer used. They do not have a wiring system, so they don't wire money. So he kind of had a cashier's check for like $35,000. So we had to take it to another bank, and then like a timing issue. So that's what that was. Like I was saying, but my challenge is I got a kind of a listing with a for sale by owner, and he says he wants a certain number for the home, which is great, but it's actually it's bigger and it's around the corner from the house that I just sold. So I explained to him that the value of the home is more than what he's asking, and he's like, "Well, you're the realtor. Sell it for whatever you want to, and just give me what I asked for." So as a part investor, I know that I can figure that out. But as a realtor, it's I kind of feel like I got stumped where I want to stay within the right laws and do it the right way. Because like I say, the number that he wants, if I, and I asked him, I said, "Well, are you under contract with anybody else?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Well, you can get, an extra," he wants $75,000 for the house. He can get $120 for the house. And I told him, man, and he's like, "I don't care about the 120. I want the 75. So I was like, "Well, okay. I will call you later."
Here's what I would do, Jay. This is a broker question, and I'm going to punt because this is my lane. Okay?
So
I'm a big deal on my lane. So Jay, I'm going to recommend that you message Scott and Rhonda or call the broker hotline. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And let them walk you through the legality piece of it. I think I know the answer, but that's not my lane.
Yeah, right. And that's the whole thing, because I've thought about it, since like I said, I've done some wholesaling. I know how to make it work, but I don't want to, I don't want to mess up anything, or, with me having my license, I want to make sure that it's right. So that's my challenge. My challenge is I can make $50,000, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it correctly.
Isn't that kind of like a net listing?
Yes.
That's what it's for.
Right. So since we don't do too many of those, it's kind of like, how do we make that work? And I've come up with a few different creative ways to do it, but I want to make sure that I'm doing them by the law at this point.
Please, I appreciate that, and I definitely want you to do that. So, what I would do is text Rhonda and Scott, both of them, and one of them will get back with you. Okay. Awesome. All right. All right. Who's next? We got to wrap up here in a few minutes. So I want to hear from everybody that wants to share.
Okay, I'll go. So a challenge for me, I would say, is just keeping everything in order, because at first I was doing my scripts and stuff, but then I started doing something else. So I kind of took them out, and I just got to keep everything in order and can't stop doing one thing because I start doing another thing.
Exactly. That's time blocking. So when we put our time blocks on our calendar, we protect them. There's another bold law, and it is, if we erase, we must replace, which means if we have a time block on our calendar and we have to schedule a doctor's appointment during our lead gen time, then we have to take that block of lead gen time and move it somewhere else in our calendar, right? We can't just throw it in the trash can. It has to go back on the calendar somewhere. And that might mean that if you have to move it off of your Tuesday time block, that maybe Saturday after a productivity workshop, you make phone calls for a couple of hours and see if you catch people at home on Saturdays, right? Maybe that's how you move your time block. Script practice. Script practice is really important when you're a new agent, but all the time, I still script practice, right? You have to get comfortable with the conversations. So if you don't get if you're going to come to 8:30 to 9 script practice, and I'm working on getting some other times for you guys to script practice, not with me and maybe not with this group, but with some other agents from around the country that are in productivity coaching with other productivity coaching coaches that I am masterminding with. So we're going to get some better time slots that hopefully works for everybody. And you'll get to network and community with people all over the country. What's that going to be good for? Referrals? 25% for making a phone call? Yeah. So I'm working on that for you, Robert, but you just have to fit that in. And if that means you have to script practice over dinner, right? You can script practice with whoever you're having dinner with, right?
Right.
So yeah, that's a challenge. All right. How about your conversations?
Conversations, not too bad. Was okay. I would say could be better, but I've been having conversations, so that's good. I guess one of them was good. I had a multiple offer situation. So I did win my first multiple offer, which was pretty awesome. Yeah, it was pretty good. I won it because it was between me and somebody else. And I won it because I was really just being nice to the other agent, helping the other agent out because they made a couple mistakes and I was just helping them out. And then she's like, well, it was between you and somebody else, but we decided to go with you. But I mean, I was just even overnight, I was helping them out and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, that's part of the whole KW culture, right? We take care of other agents. Now, Robert, here's an opportunity for you to build your profit share. Because this agent liked you helping her out. She probably needs to come to Keller Williams so she can get help on a regular basis.
Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't think of that part.
Just saying. So yesterday was profit share day. Yesterday, agents all over Keller Williams got checks. I know that in the South office, there are 3 agents that get $3,000 every month on the 21st for profit share, just for sending names of agents to the team leader to recruit to Keller Williams. So Robert, get her name and number, give it to Beth, and let's, have her join us, become part of our family.
All right. Sounds good.
Awesome. Anybody else have wins, challenges, or want to share how they're doing on their goals?
I'll go.
Good morning, Miss Vegas.
Good morning.
She's back from fabulous Las Vegas.
Yes. I guess the challenge for me this week was just getting back on track, regrouping, getting my other business affairs together since I was gone. It seemed like every time I leave, I have so much to do before I leave. And then when I come back, it's the same thing. So just getting everything together. So I really didn't get to lead generate much, but I did a lot of follow-ups. And I made sure that I got everything together before I left. So I was able to follow up on those people too when I came back. And the commercial listing, he texted me yesterday and was like, oh, come by. I'm a listed. I was like, okay, thank you. So I finally wore him down. So he wants to list at 1.2 million. We have presented him with 850.
So how much, tell everyone how much tenacity that took. How long did that take from start to finish?
From start to finish, we originally was under buyer contract in June. So I've been working on it since June, and it fell through in July, and in August. So the end of August to now that I've been working on him, just keep texting him or calling him. Oh, did you sell it yet?
Oh, that's awesome. So for sale by owner, right? For sale by owner.
At first, it was not a for sale by owner at all.
It wasn't even for sale. You talked him into selling it for sale by owner to your buyer. Then the deal fell through. Then he agreed that he would pay a buyer's commission if you brought him a buyer, and now he's going to let you list it.
Yes.
So that's so awesome. Congratulations.
Great.
So I am so happy about that. So I was going to have him sign in on Friday. I didn't have him signing because the listing agreement that I have already together that I had left for him. So basically I texted him, oh, did you get to look at the listing agreement that I left with you? Or you going to let me list it? And then a day later, because he always texts late, a day later, he was like, oh yeah, come on by. I'm going to let you list it. but he just wanted to change the terms to the price. And it was a vacant, he had a vacant suite. Okay. He ended up renting it. So he still wants to sell it, but he just wanted to sell it for the 1.2 million instead of the 950. But he wants me to, so I have to talk to Tom, and so Tom can finagle that part for me. That if the tenant who moved in, if they buy it, he want to reduce commission because he would have brought that buyer, but he's still willing to pay me because he still wants me to do the paperwork.
Fabulous.
So we agreed on 3% if they buy it and 6% if I bring the buyer or someone else brings it. And the original contract that I left with him only had 5% on it, so I did negotiate the 1 more percent. So,
Fabulous. That's big win. That was better than winning in Vegas.
yes,
Great
it was.
news.
Yes, it was.
Great
Yeah.
news.
Just saying.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else? Anyone else have a win, a challenge, or want to share how they're doing on their goals?
I just want to say that I even feel like I won just by hearing that, because it just pumped me up. Like, that is awesome.
That's
Yeah.
why we do this. Thank you, Chelsea. I am so grateful for your feedback. And before I forget all of you guys, because it is Thanksgiving week, I am so grateful for you. I'm so grateful that you come and spend Saturday mornings with me. And I love celebrating your wins. I love that so much. All right. So anyone else before I jump in? We were going to have, Leah was going to come today and talk to us about farming neighborhoods. However, she had a schedule issue come up, and so she's not with us today, which is fine. She's going to come and do farming neighborhoods the second week of December. The first Saturday of December, we have Tyler Hankins, who's coming to share with everyone about working with first-time home buyers. That's his niche, and he's got some tricks and tips. So I've got what I thought we would do today, if it's all right with you. I prepared, we would go through talking about social media and how social media can be a good source, one of your 3 to 5 sources of lead generation. And I didn't want you to hear it only from me. So I found an awesome video that another agent is doing this at a really high level, who ironically enough was a brand new agent. So I thought if it's all right with you, I'm going to share a video with you today. So you do get somebody other than me. So I'm trying to give you a little bit other perspectives from things. But before we do that, I wanted to go back to last week. We didn't do our 6 personal perspectives that we had been doing. And so I want to go back to that first and just make sure that before the end of the year, we've covered the 6 personal perspectives. And if you remember, we started with committing to self-mastery. Who can tell me a little bit about what they remember about the personal perspective of committing to self-mastery?
Was there a handout on this? Because I don't remember this.
No, this was 3 weeks ago. We talked about this. It's about, we spent about 10 minutes. Remember, committing to self-mastery. This is kind of like the 16 hours of Zoom that Bobby was talking about earlier, right? So 16 hours of Zoom is actually moving forward to self-mastery. It might just be doing it all too quick. Right? We can't do 16 hours and still get in the things that we need to do to be successful. So committing to self-mastery, if you guys remember, I think there's a really good slide that sums this up, right? It's knowing what your goals are. We've all been working on our goals, right? Knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are, and then figuring out how to work with your strengths to overcome your weaknesses, or if you need to add some leverage, or if you have a problem with deadlines, then maybe you need to look at a different calendaring solution. If you have a problem with time blocking, maybe you need to look at a different calendarly solution. So looking at what our strengths and weaknesses are and figuring out how to use our strengths and compensate for our weaknesses. So that's self-mastery. And then the second principle that we talked about is the big one, right? I think this is one of the most important. They're all important. That's why there are 6 of them and not a whole bunch. But this one is the 80-20 principle, or Pareto's principle. Does anybody remember what that is? That's 2 weeks ago.
You want to do 20% of the work to get 80% results, something like that.
Right. So we want to focus on our dollar productive activities. This kind of goes back to the 16 hours of Zoom as well. 16 hours, getting the education is important, but those 16 hours, were not dollar productive, right? Those were not dollar productive. What should your 20% be? What gets you 80% of your business?
Lead generation.
Lead generation, right. So that's what we have to make sure we protect that and we don't get out of that habit. So today we're going to talk about, the 80-20, I know this because I'm sliding through this, and I know that the 80-20 is really important because it has more slides than the other ones. All right, today this is important too. We're going to talk about moving from E to P. Do you guys, anybody have any idea what that means? Does that mean anything to anybody?
Moving from entrepreneurial.
Yes, to
Professional or something like that. It's like proficient. What is it?
purposeful.
Purposeful. Okay.
Purposeful. So this goes back to like when we talk about our conversations, right? It's not just any conversation we have. It has to be a purposeful conversation, an intentional conversation that's leading us on the path to our goal, which is to have an appointment, right? That's the path. So we have to get purposeful. So entrepreneurial really means doing what comes natural. So it comes very natural for Tamika to have conversations with people, right? She's a very social, communicative person, very natural for her to have conversations, but she has to push herself a little bit towards a little bit of uncomfortable so that she can be purposeful, making sure that she's asking for appointments, right? So how many of you guys have that experience? Like you get on the phone and you're having the call and it's going pretty well. And then you hang up and you think, well, I didn't get an appointment. Well, I didn't ask for an appointment. Does that happen to anyone?
It's happened to me. Not now.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
So that's what we're talking about here is this moving from E to P and understanding that in order to, does anybody have kids that have had growing pains? Like serious, like the physical aches of growing? Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
That's kind of something that I always think about, right? In order to grow, we have to have a little bit of discomfort, right? And so we have to get right up against, I'm not saying you have to throw yourself out there in the grocery store. For those of you that's heard my story, bold makes you go way into your uncomfort zone so that you feel more comfortable being slightly uncomfortable. And that's, getting kicked out of the grocery store was not a fun thing, but by goodness, I got my contacts in that day. But that's what we're looking for here, right? We're looking for being more purposeful. So we've learned that the videos in these slides from KW, I can't make work. So we're going to skip that one. So one of the things, these are the steps that we do in order to move from E to P, right? We want to write out our goals. We've been doing that. October was our goal setting month, and we focused on our 20%, right? And we defined 20% as the number of purposeful conversations that we need to have, knowing that if we get really good at having those purposeful conversations, we will get all the appointments that we need, which will convert to all of the contracts that we need, which will get us to the closing table as many times as we need to meet our goals. So that's our focusing on our 20%. So that's what we've been doing. And then we need to find strategic options for ourselves. So we need to ask ourselves, like, is there a better way to do this? This is what I've been doing and it's taking a lot of my time, right? Is there a better way to do this? How can it be done? What's the best way to be done? And then look for models to follow. We have that, right? Oh my gosh, it's not here. Oh, it is. It's just open. Imagine that. It's open on my desk instead of a thing. But remember, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, there's where our models come from, right? We have plenty to follow. Find an agent that does things. That's why I'm trying to introduce you guys to different agents that do their lead generation different ways. There's more than one way to do anything. Let's find one that works for you and then let's model after it, right? So we're going to identify mentors and people who've done it the way we think that we would like to do it. So that's what we're going to do there. We're going to install systems. We're talking about time blocking all the time. We're talking about practicing scripts all the time. We have 8:30 to 9 right now. And hopefully after Thanksgiving, I will have a few more options for you on time block or on practice script practicing. And if you can't script practice with a KW group as part of productivity coaching, who can you script practice with?
Your family.
Exactly. Exactly. Or your friends, right? Kim has a great example. Kim went out to do an appointment and with her sister, right, dear? Was your
Yes.
sister? Your baby
Yes.
sister, I think.
Yes.
So she went to meet with her baby sister. And what did you do with your baby sister?
I actually did my buyer's presentation with my baby sister.
The whole thing, right?
The whole thing, the entire thing, and actually surprised myself on how well I actually knew it and was able to get through it. So yeah, it was great practice.
So yeah, we have to practice. Remember, we don't want to practice on live patients. I mean, all you have to think about is a dentist who's never used a drill before filling your teeth. I mean, if that doesn't make you cringe, I don't know what would, right? We don't want somebody who doesn't know what to do with that drill getting in our mouth with the drill. So we want to practice. So practice scripts, creating checklists, right? Bobby, one of the things I would recommend in the Indy Metro PC library, there are some contract to close checklists. Adopt them for yourselves and use those. Or Command has built-in checklist. I haven't got to say it yet today, but I'll say it right now. Google Marty Miller 66-day challenge checklists, and he will tell you how to do checklists. I'm going to start keeping track how many days of my life. Usually on Sundays, I don't say Marty Miller's name. Sometimes I do. So I would love to know how many times in a year I say his name. I love that. All right. And then you want to check in on your systems, right? Once you get systems in place, you want to make sure they're working for you, because as you grow, your systems may need to grow with you. And then we bring accountability, and you guys are lucky enough that you have accountability, because every week you have to send it to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here's one thing I'm going to tell you, because it's something that my coach is working on with me, because I have accountability too. I have a coach, and I maybe not doing you guys a good enough disservice about chasing after those accountability forms. So I'm working on a new system for accountability, which is going to be a Google Forms doc, where you guys can just go in and put your numbers in, and it's going to track whether you filled it out, whether you didn't. And it's also going to help us track your conversion ratios. So I'm pretty excited about that. My assistant, who's working for me right now, is putting that together. And so we'll have that before the first of the year. We'll probably have trial run in December. So I'm going to help with that accountability. But it's having your 411 and your GPS. Those of you that did the Gene Rivers business planning class, I didn't get to do it, but I'm sure you got a good lesson on why it's important to have your 411 and your GPS. Shelly, Chelsea, Melissa, anybody have a comment on that? Anything that you got from Gene that you want to share? Did anybody else do Gene Rivers?
I didn't get to.
No, neither did I.
Carla, it was so good, but it was so much.
So much.
I mean, it's such a compliment, but oh my God, it was so much. So
Well,
I wish I could watch it again.
Yes, that's unfortunate. I wish we could too, because I would like to pay to watch it, because I didn't get to go. But here's one thing I'll tell you about trainings like that when it's so much. And I did fall masterminds, and if you ever get a chance in the spring or summer to hop into a mastermind, it's a lot of fun, because they will put you in masterminds with agents that are at the same production level, and same, well, mostly they do it by production. So if you sold 10 deals, you'll be with mostly people that are in the same place as you. Like maybe you've been in the business the same amount of time and you have the same production level, and you just sit in a breakout room really, and they'll give you guided questions to go through, and you learn so much. I have about 34 pages of notes from 2 days, but at the very end, you have to synthesize it down to one action item. Like, so when you take a class like that, you have all of these great notes, but you have to walk away with something that you're going, at least one action item that you're going to move forward on. So that's how I always handle it with a lot. All right. So we're going to have your goal sheet. You need to have your 411 and your GPS. And those of you that are new with me will be getting to that here in the next couple weeks. So that's E to P. So tell me what does that feel like for you guys? Do you guys feel like you're on a good path to moving from E to P, or do you feel like how uncomfortable do you feel? Isn't that kind of the litmus test, right? Like on a daily basis, am I staying in my comfort zone, or am I pushing up against it?
Well, I'm trying to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
That's it. Oh, I love that. Get comfortable. That is the nugget of the day. Thank you, dear. Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
That's my mindset. I changed my mindset.
I like that. You guys should all write that down and put it above your computer, right? You get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's fabulous. All right. How about social media? Tell me which of you guys are actively using social media in your business. Tamika is.
I just started.
Melissa is. Okay. Shelly is.
I am.
I do.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, I am.
There's no try. We just do.
Well, I was going to say I'm trying, but I guess I am.
So does everybody have their business page, their Facebook business page set up? Who does not have their Facebook business page set up? All right.
I don't have a Facebook one.
You don't have a Facebook one. Okay. Jay's hand is going like this, slowly, slowly, slowly up. You mean your IT director can't do that for you, Jay?
I have a Facebook business page, but it's not with the KW stuff on it. It's just with one that I made up myself.
So where do you think that you don't, it is one, all of our business pages are one that we made up ourselves. That's true. So how could it become a KW business page?
So do I need to link them together or something?
No. All you need to do is go into designs, right? And find some slick Facebook things and designs that have KW on them, and change your whatever that's called. What's that called?
Banner. Your banner.
Your banner. Thank you.
So I kind of know, I would like to do it
So
slower.
jump in and change that, and make it KW. But in order for your business Facebook page to do anything for you, what do you have to do? What do you have to have?
Posts and followers.
Posts and followers, right? So you have to have a schedule for yourself. If you're going to use social media, all right, E to P, right? We're going to be purposeful. If we're going to be social media lead generating, we need to be purposeful with our lead generation, right? So here, I am going to, hang on, let me find this video. And I am going to find it. There it is. Okay, I'm going to play this for you guys, and then we can see if we have any ahas from this, because I watched it 3 times last night and I thought there were lots of them. Okay. Are you guys seeing it?
I am Kelly Cody, Market Center.
Yes.
And with me is an amazing agent. I cannot wait for you to hear about Paulina and hear her story of what she's done. Paulina, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kelly. I'm so excited to be here with you today. My name is Paulina, and I am an agent with Keller Williams here in Springfield, Missouri. I have been an agent since April of last year. So
you are new.
Yeah,
Welcome.
but absolutely loving it. I love my job and I love my clients, and I hope to do this for a very long time.
Well, fantastic. Welcome to real estate and welcome to Keller Williams. So you came to my attention because I was speaking with one of the leaders in your office of saying, hey, I always want to talk to new agents who are doing new things or who are doing things really cool. And they could not give me your name fast enough. They were like, you need to speak with Paulina. You need to find out what she's doing. So Paulina, your first year in the business, 2020 will be your first full year. So far this year, how many closings have you had?
So far this year, I have closed a total of 53 units.
Somebody say wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
Wow.
That right?
Yes. so that is actually one of my goals. I'm really hoping and really striving to get Rookie of the Year.
Well, congratulations. I am sure that you will. So tell us, how did you, sorry, fingers crossed. So tell us, how did you get these 53 closings that you've managed to do in 9 months?
Yeah, so I focus a lot on social media. Social media is my friend. I kind of take social media to my advantage because it's like free advertising. Everybody has social media. And
you just said free. So are you not paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month for ads?
Nope.
$0 ad spend for these.
It's all organic. I have tried an ad once and I just did not find success in that. So, and I honestly did not get any business from that. So honestly, all my leads have been 100% organic.
Okay, I need to hear more about this. So $0 ad spend leading to 53 closings just by social media posts?
Yep. So the first thing I did whenever I got my license is I created a business page that's linked to my personal account.
Okay.
And then I started adding people on Facebook. I think Facebook allows you to have a max of 5,000 friends. I was at like, I don't know, 800. So I just started adding people. And it wasn't just random people. It was, Facebook will give you suggested friends. So usually if I had like 40, 50 friends in common with that person, I would click on their profile, see, you know, what they do, if what they do as a profession, where they live, and I would add them on Facebook. And then I would invite those people to like my business page. So anytime I would get new friends on Facebook, I would invite them to like my business page. That way, anytime I post anything on my business page, it would get pushed out to those people.
Okay, so you weren't like, I don't know about you, but Facebook is always like, hey, here's people that you might want to add. And I'm like, I've never heard of them and I don't have anybody in connection with them. And you're saying, go take a look at those people, see what they do, see who they are, see who they know, instead of me just going, ignore, dismiss, ignore.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so very conscientious about your target audience of these are people who you're letting into your personal life on Facebook and then your business life.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And what kind of posts are you putting on your business? Actually, do you have some examples that you can show us?
I do, yeah. Okay. So I try to mix it up because if I keep posting the same thing over and over, people are gonna, you know, get bored with it. So I try to mix it up. And so let me share my screen with you, Kelly, really fast, just so I can give you examples. Okay, so can you see my screen?
I can. It looks like you have got some cool stuff on Facebook.
Perfect. Okay, so here's my business page that I have created. And the cool thing about the page is whenever you go to Insights, it actually shows you some analytics. So you can see exactly how much attention each post is getting. You can track different times that you posted to see which time works better for you. So here are some examples of things that I have been posting. I post things that are educational to my clients. So like, for example, here's a pre-listing checklist or things like that. Something that my clients are gonna, or people on Facebook are gonna find beneficial to them.
Okay. All right. And blog posts, information. All righty.
And then I always try to make posts something that the people that are looking at them will engage in.
Sorry, and this is a great example because I'm like leaning in, I'm smiling, I'm like, I want to see the rest of this picture. A garage style window.
The funny thing is, I saw this picture last night and it caught my attention. So I was thinking, if it caught my attention, it's gonna catch other people's attention. So this is like a garage door style kitchen window. And so my post was very simple. I said kitchen sink with a garage style window, yay or nay, comment below. So this will prompt people to comment on your post. So you can kind of see the people that have posted on it, how many people it reached, how many engagements it has gotten. And then what I'll do is, and I know some agents don't like mixing their personal page with the business page. I do because I'm very passionate about my job. So I like to push it out as much as I can. So I will actually share that post to my personal page. So this same exact post that I posted to my personal page. And like you can see, same thing. I can't decide if I like this or not. So very simple. very casual, and then you can see that more people have commented on it.
Okay.
More people have liked it. And then another thing that I like to do is on my story, I will post sometimes the same post, and you can create a poll on Facebook.
Oh, okay. So hang on. So like one post, one image, you're now getting multiple uses out of it. Your business page, your personal page, and Facebook stories.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Just put it out as much as you can.
Putting that to work. I like it.
Yeah.
So I guess the part where I'm stuck now is, okay, so you're posting a mix of, you got informational, you got entertainment, it's real estate related. How does this get you business though? How does this translate into 53 closings?
Yeah, so people will see all my posts, and every time I post something with, let's see, let me show you an example. For example, whenever I'm showing a really cool house like this one, I'll post showing this house this evening to my clients. Look at those windows, look at that natural light. Who wants to see it? And then people will see that I'm showing this house, will click on the link, and then I have actually gotten business that way, because they'll be like, hey, Paulina, I saw that you posted this cool house on Facebook. Do you mind showing us? So I think it's constantly pushing that material out and showing people on Facebook the houses or other things that are out there. So it catches their attention, and they'll actually reach out to me, whether they're wanting to sell a house or buy a house, whether they have questions about interest rates or they need to talk to a lender. They'll notice that, hey, I'm a realtor, I'm doing this constantly, I'm going to reach out to this girl with my real estate needs.
Alrighty, so you're basically your database, if I'm here, and I think it's funny, you just had a pop up on a notification that somebody just commented on the post we were looking at. So your database sounds like it is a bunch of people on Facebook. You start these relationships on Facebook, and then you get contact information from them, and then turn them into a face-to-face consumer interaction.
Yes, exactly. Okay. It's funny because there was this one girl, and I absolutely love her. We kind of became friends because of real estate. She reached out to me, and she was interested in selling her house. And I've never met her before. We had some friends in common, mutual friends. And so the first time that I met her, she was like, oh my gosh, it's so nice to actually finally meet you in person. I feel like I know you because of all these posts, and you always share things on Facebook with your clients. So she's like, I feel like I know you, and it's so nice to actually finally meet you in person. So it's just crazy how powerful social media is, because it kind of gives you the opportunity to market yourself and advertise yourself to people in your community that you haven't necessarily met in person.
Okay. Well, it looks like you have a couple more examples. If you wouldn't mind just really quickly showing us what those are, just to give everybody an idea. But from what I'm seeing, that would be very funny.
It's always, the funny ones, because we're all human. We like to laugh. So the funny ones are always the ones that get a lot of hits. I think this one got 58 likes and a bunch of comments.
Okay.
The funny ones always are a good hit.
And they're always good. Okay, you've got video too. Okay.
Live videos are a great way to push out your content, because Facebook's algorithm will actually reward you and push your material out to more people. So whenever you're doing your Facebook live videos, even if it like 1 or 2 people are watching it at the time, Facebook will keep pushing those out. So this one, for example, I had a total of 424 views. So it'll keep generating those views, and it'll keep pushing it out to more and more people, even after you're done recording.
So you definitely did your homework about Facebook and what it takes to get something to get more attention on their end. So it sounds like you're very purposeful about making sure that you're doing what Facebook likes. I think just about everybody in America right now has now seen the social dilemma. Sounds like you're actually using that to your advantage. If I remember correctly, you're also being very purposeful about looking for reasons to post, right?
Yeah. So I try to post at least once a day, and like I said, I try to kind of mix up my content. And I mean, I'm human, I make mistakes, so there's days that I'll forget to post. But like I said, I try to post at least once a day and mix the content just to remind people that, hey, I'm a real estate agent. Even though there's so many crazy things happening in the world right now, real estate is still happening. Real estate agents can still be successful. You just have to keep on it and keep doing it and keep showing people that you are willing to, you know, do whatever it takes and you're still in business.
Well, Paulina, thank you so much. So my takeaways from this are keep it simple, be consistent, and build relationships. Those seem to be like the big three things that you are doing every single day, and it has led to an absolutely phenomenal first year in the business. Congratulations so much. I really appreciate your time with us today, and I cannot wait to see you receive Rookie of the Year. I'm looking forward to that now.
That would be such an honor, and like I said, it's one of my goals right now, so that would be super awesome.
All right. Well, awesome job on your work so far. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Kelly.
All right, who's got some, please tell me there's ahas.
Aha, that is awesome. That was very enlightening. I've been really trying to focus on trying to get my Facebook page up. I feel that because everyone around me is using Facebook, social media. And so I know that that's a good way to reach individuals, and she kind of nailed it on the head.
So let's walk through that a little bit. First of all, so we've got a business page and a personal page, right?
Right.
So tell me what was important about her business page versus how did the two interrelate with one another?
Because she's still sharing posts on both of them, and she's still letting people know that, you know, her profession is.
As soon as she added someone on her personal page, she referred to her business page.
Right.
Correct.
Okay, so that went that way, right? New friend, please like my business page.
Right.
But then being on her personal page too, it's creating a closer relationship.
Yeah.
So then we post a multitude of things on our business page that we then share selectively to our personal page, which links back to our business page, by the way, if we share, right?
Right.
So there's this constant interrelationship between the two. Now, one thing I'll tell you that she didn't mention on there. So on your business page, it's just business stuff, right? That's all real estate. It doesn't necessarily mean it's only just your listings or whatever. It's the things like, you know, go punk your realtor. Go to the Mercedes dealership and take a picture in front of a new car with the salesperson saying, look what I just bought. Wouldn't that give you a heart attack? Right? But you know, how funny is that, right? That's funny. So put that on there, make people laugh, make people engage. I love the polling, right? You know, do you like this or not? I love that. Go find strange pictures, strange stories about real estate that doesn't have anything to do with you.
But by linking,
go ahead, Susan.
Yeah. So I think what you were maybe getting to is that by linking to your personal page, they're not just seeing real estate. So then they also are going to see you as a human, and that way you don't feel like you're just inundating their feed with real estate.
Yes, exactly. As long as you're purposeful also about being human on your personal page.
Because emotion sells.
Yes, and connection too, right? Remember she said on there that she met someone that she, for the first time, and because they were around her so much on Facebook, they felt like they knew her. And that doesn't mean you have to, no matter what your feeling is about Facebook, you know, some people put everything out there. Some people they don't like to post, right? They only like to observe. You know, I recommend that you post, and just because it's personal doesn't mean it's about your family, your house, your children, you know, your personal, but you can post personal things like, right, it's Thanksgiving. I'm so grateful for all the blessings in my life. Is that personal? Did you reveal anything personal about yourself? No, but that would help somebody feel like they were getting to know you, right? Because you're the kind of person that would post something positive. I recommend on your personal website or your personal Facebook, stay away from politics unless you really, really feel strongly about only working with people who believe exactly what you believe, right? Stay away from overly religious things, because again, unless you want to limit who you work with, remember anything that you post on there that is divisive, okay? Then you're going to limit the number of people that might work with you potentially. So I would stay away from anything that's a hot button if this is how you're going to lead generate, right? I'm not saying you can't put things on your Facebook. I probably also wouldn't put unprofessional things like we see our children, right?
Yes.
Like
I do see a lot of people doing that, unprofessional things, but I tell a lot of people, because I do talk to a lot of people, that you're selling yourself first. So when people buy or when people use you as an agent, they're using you because they like you, not because you sell real estate, because they can go to anyone else. So if you're on your page posting things that's not appropriate, they're going to look at you like that. It's going to have a reflection on you, or it's unprofessional. They're not going to want to use you as their realtor or any other type of business because you're unprofessional, or you're posting like stuff that like, all kinds of stuff people be posting. And I'm like, that is inappropriate. And like, it's my personal page, but you're supposed to be doing business. So when you're doing business and you want somebody to trust you, you can't post those type of things.
Exactly.
Like, I have childcare too. I don't post certain things. Like, I go out with my friends, I hang out, I drink. But if you look at my page, you would never see me with the drink in my hand, ever. I'm friends with people at church and things like that. They all know I go out. They all know I hang out, but I don't take those type of pictures and I don't post those type of things.
Yeah. So you got to remember, whatever you put out there, that is what people know about you, right? And they're going to make a judgment, because remember, in order for somebody to do business with us, they have to know us, like us, and trust us. And if you've put something out there that they can readily find that makes them question any of those three things in their own judgment, not whether you think it would make them not like you, know you, or trust you, but whether it's that way for them. So that I just got to caution you about that. That's all that is. Now, so there's Facebook, and then there's also other social media platforms, right? So are any of you guys using other social media platforms, either for business or in your personal life? Shelley?
Yeah, I use LinkedIn and Instagram. So Instagram or LinkedIn is pretty business heavy anyway. And then I kind of suck at Instagram, quite honestly. I have to force myself to use it. So it's kind of like an afterthought most of the time, but I do do it. And then we use Hootsuite to post to all three platforms at the same time.
That's awesome. Okay. So here's the thing, right? You suppose that what social media platform you choose is going to be based on what kind of client is your ideal client. How could that statement, what does that mean to you? What could possibly that mean to you?
Well, I think that more LinkedIn is more your business client. That's going to be more your high-end properties, more or less. Instagram going to be more from the millenniums, and Facebook is more our age range, the adults.
Miranda, do you Instagram?
Yes, I do. That's probably my favorite one.
I was gonna say, do you Instagram more than you Facebook?
So I don't post a ton, but I like the story feature. So I do stories on Instagram pretty regularly, and then they're linked up to Facebook. So then they show up on Facebook, and then I'll occasionally post on Instagram, and then it links to Facebook too. So I tend to like use Instagram, but then have it tied to Facebook. And then I need to be better about posting on my business page after watching that video, but I have a Facebook business page too. So.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. But the stories are really easy because they're just quick and live, and they just are there for like 24 hours. But, if I'm ever doing anything, like at a showing or a closing or anything, I try to share that along with, oh, my 3-year-old's being crazy, or, just different things. So it kind of helps people, I feel like, get to know you better than like a post, which seems more thought out versus a real kind of live story.
I like Instagram.
Yeah. I know my kids do, right? My daughter's big on Instagram. I'm with you, Shelley. My brain doesn't function in that. I just feel like I'm just like randomly putting stuff out there and I can't find anything either. Like if I want to go find something, I can't find anything there either. So it is definitely a thing. I have this thing, I can't figure out how to share it with you so that you can read it. So I'm going to email this out to everybody. And it is something I found last night about choosing the right social media platform for your business. And it's going to walk you through a little bit about the purpose of each and the downside. And I wouldn't suggest, just like I don't suggest with your three-legged stool that you're picking 5 or 10 lead generation sources, right? I recommend 3, get really good at 3. Are you better off to do 3 well or 10, right? If we do 10, we don't do anything well and we're not going to be successful at it. So that's not purposeful. So pick a couple or 1, I don't care, pick what you like. If you want a social media, pick 1 and get really good at it and then figure out how to translate that into another. So when we wrap up social media, the other thing I wanted to mention, and because this was huge for me, and we're now back to high COVID numbers, and we talked about open houses last week. Before we go further about what I'm going to say, Bobby had a really interesting thing that he brought up to all of us last week at the end of the open house that happened to with him while we were going through that. And Bobby, will you share that with everyone?
Yes, can you hear me? Yes. So actually, my mom had decided to buy a house in the middle of me doing my practice on Flex MLS here. And so I sent her a thing and she said, why don't we go look at this open house that's happening today? And I'm like, okay, let's do. So we went there. Fortunately, the real estate agent did have a mask on and everything and supposedly did her, her sanitizing of everything. But unfortunately, we made an offer. My mom's ended up buying the house, which is kind of neat. But the bad part was, while we were in the middle of our conversation last Saturday, the real estate agent, I saw her call me, so I stepped away. And when I did, she goes, so I'm calling you because I know you asked to go in the house tonight again to do like a little review, but she goes, I have to let you know at the open house, I had COVID and I'm having to call all the 19 guests that signed in with a pencil that I had put there and touched. And so all the people had signed in and been exposed to her, and she had to share with all the guests. And so it was a really big reminder. Of course, we had to go be tested on Monday, a week ago Monday. We're still waiting on our test. No symptoms, thank God for Mom and I, but it's still really scary because at the end of the right before we were leaving, we were the last guest there. She took off her mask while we were standing there. She was at least 6 feet away, but still, it just was a reminder to me of all the things. They all came back to me afterwards of we really have to protect ourselves and our clients. And so it was a true scare factor for Mom and I. And so I just wanted to share that with you all if you are going to do open houses. We just got a note from Kentucky saying, please do not do open houses until the middle of December because it's so bad. So just, sharing that with you all in hopes that you might be able to save yourself or somebody else.
I love that. So things that we forget about, right? What if you're going to have a pen or an iPad for sign in, or the tablet that Shauna recommended isn't the best solution right now. Maybe it's a single piece of paper for every person, and maybe a little thing of pens, and have a clean pen and a dirty pen, right? So that they're only getting sanitized pens, or wipe down with Clorox wipes the pen in between each person if you do. But if you're not having open houses, can you still have an open house, not in person, and be safe? And isn't what we're talking about today with Facebook? And did you hear her say that Facebook rewards live videos? Right? So during the quarantine, before I became a coach, when I was still actively lead generating for real estate business, every Saturday I toured 3 homes on video on Facebook Live. And I found is that the sillier you are, one time I went through with I made a milkshake hat because we were going, the milkshake shop downtown had opened. So we did 3 houses and then we went to the milkshake shop. And I wore for the 3 houses a big milkshake, and I had a red cherry on top, and then it was a balloon, and then it popped in the middle. And we couldn't edit the fact that I said something about the cherry popping. It was not, but people loved it, right? They loved it. 500 Festival. I got a tiara from one of my daughter's girlfriends who had been a 500 princess, and I put up one of my daughter's prom dresses on a hanger around my neck, and I toured the house with this prom dress and tiara on because I always wanted to be a 500 princess. And I mean, people loved it. A couple of agents, Ryan, who's not on here with us today, and Brian Quinlan and we raced cardboard Indy 500 cars the Memorial Day weekend around an open house backyard because, you know, we couldn't have the Indy 500. So if you do things like that on Facebook, you won't believe the engagement I got. Some of you have heard this story, but I'm going to tell you real quick. I got a call in the middle of all this from someone that I have to admit that was not in my database. And that's where I really had to go back and start checking that database. Who do I not have in here list? She called me and she said, "Do you remember me?" Yeah, no, yeah. And she's like, "Oh, you know, I took your kids' senior pictures." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, of course. Yeah." She said, "Well, been watching." She was my Facebook friend because that's how you get your kids' senior pictures first, right? She puts them on her Facebook, like the preview, and you get just a couple. So she was my Facebook friend. She saw these videos. She said, "My husband and I were getting ready to sell. We have some investment properties. And instead of using the last realtor we had that we've never heard from again, I kept seeing your videos and I realized you're working hard, right? Everybody's in quarantine, everybody's shut down, and you're out there working hard." She said, "We have 11 investment properties we'd like to sell over the next year. Would you be interested in working with us?" No. Right? And it was just because I was doing those videos on Facebook. That's all I did. I never called her. I can tell you, as much as I tell you to call everyone, I had never thought to call her. And it's not a bad story because it's not one that fell apart. Susan, tell them what happened when you did a Facebook Live at an open house.
Yeah, so I did a Facebook Live video at an open house, and a friend of mine, like we've been friends for probably 8 years. We used to work together at a restaurant, and she saw my Facebook Live video and sent me a message through Facebook while I was still at the open house and was like, "Hey, how much is that house?" And so I texted her back and told her, and it was like way out of her price range. And so then I was like, "Well, I didn't know you were looking to buy," and sure enough they were. And so then I was like, "Well, where are you looking at?" And she told me. And so since there was no one at the open house, I just got out my computer and went to my board, did a search in the neighborhood that they were interested in and the price range, and that night went and showed her a property. And they're not ready to buy, but funny enough, I'm actually showing them another property again tonight. But yeah, but awesome. I had not asked, so
yeah. So, you know, you get in front of people. So remember that when you're thinking about it. And it doesn't even have to be, you can do a Facebook Live. Tamika, you do these, don't you?
No, I don't. That's one thing I haven't. That's my fear. Like it's on my list to do. And I know once I do it, I know I'm gonna have a breakthrough. But
what's your fear? Tell me what your fear is.
It's just the live.
Somebody else is having this too.
I post pictures all day long. It's just that live thing and the video thing. It's just that I can't break from it. Like it's on my list. I'm gonna do it.
I will say that the videos, they work perfect.
But once I do that, I know that I'm gonna have a breakthrough. Just like when you know, I know it. It's just that I haven't did it yet. And I almost did it one time.
All right, how about Tamika? Will you commit with everyone in the group right now? Will you commit to do a Facebook Live next week?
I will.
Could you all do a Facebook Live next week? Could you all do a Facebook Live next week on Wednesday, just telling everyone how grateful that you are for them? And
I'm not so sure. I'm like Tamika. I just can't break over that barrier. It's that live thing.
Hey, girls.
Right. Does it make you feel uncomfortable?
Yes. Shelly, you were saying?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Something that I do. Okay, girls, honest to God, I can't figure out how to make Facebook Live work. So my workaround for it is I take videos instead. The great thing about doing a video on your phone, if it sucks, you can delete it and do it again.
Good
I
answer.
know that, but
That's my
the video,
workaround.
I know I will watch the video 20 times, but I did a video, I uploaded the video, and I deleted the video. So
That's so funny.
I already know that is not gonna
Yeah.
work. And I think I would do better Facebook Live. I know I would do better. It's just a matter of, because I feel like I'm talking to someone directly, and on video, I'm like, oh my God, I can't talk directly.
Talk to someone, just talk to someone directly, look at the camera and pretend like it's one person that you're going to talk to directly. If you go back to my Facebook and you look at the progression of my videos, I started off with scripts. I wrote it out on a piece of paper so people could read it. I typed it out so people could read what I was saying in case they couldn't hear it. And then I realized that was way too much work. And I did much better when I was just off the cuff, and mistakes are what people like. People relate to mistakes, right? They don't relate to perfection. Michelle, did you have something you wanted to share? Because I think
I was just going to
Zoom-
ask,
Go ahead.
right?
We didn't hear it.
Oh, try again. You may have a bad.
Oh, no.
But I mean, I do them, but because it makes us feel uncomfortable. And we need to get, again, comfortable being uncomfortable. And can you guys hear me? I did just take a class on this week, a gentleman in the Northeast office, and he was like, do not watch your videos after you post them. Do not watch them. Just put them up there and go.
Okay.
And maybe like the first time, if you're doing a Facebook Live, I would probably ask all my friends, hey, will you guys get on and watch me at 5 o'clock? I'm going to do this live video, and maybe talk back to me, because, you know, they can talk back to you. And then I think it'll just ease you right into it. And
That's awesome idea.
Yeah, I
And then-
think
but
when I
not-
do it, I think I will probably like, oh, I'm gonna go in about an hour or whatever, just to let people know that I will be on. I'm pretty sure people will watch.
Here's the thing, the difference, Shelley, I love your workaround, Shelley, but here's the thing. Just remember that Facebook Live Facebook rewards Facebook Live over just a post of a video. So you're going to get more, bang for your buck, if you will, with your thing. And if you can do a video with not live, you can do live as well. That is, and Michelle, thank you for tying this back to our E to P conversation. I love it when it all comes full circle, right? We have to stop being comfortable and move into the uncomfortable, right? So we need to stop being comfortable and just edge into the uncomfortable, and that's going to accelerate our success.
My comment too, and this may not be everyone else's fear, but like, I don't like seeing myself on the video. So that's why I like the open house videos, like, because I always start with me. I do start with me, so everybody sees me. I'm like, hey, you know, it's Susan. I'm doing another open house or something silly like that. But then I instantly flip my camera around, and so then the video is the house. Now I'm still talking the whole time and being silly or whatever, but it makes me more comfortable that the camera's not on me, the camera's on the house. But I don't know if that's everyone else's fear, but that helps me.
But you're still doing it. You're still doing it, so that's good.
So you can find these virtual open houses the same way that we talked about last week, right? Go look for vacant ones, right? It's COVID. We don't want to go mess anybody up. Take your Clorox wipes, even like help people in the video. No, look, I got my Clorox wipes because we want to be safe, right? You can make it a little PSA kind of thing going on there too, right? Wipe down the light switches as when you finish. But you could go find the same kind of houses that we're talking about to do open houses. And for the next, until the vaccine is here, and things start getting better, maybe this is a way, and we can get better with social media and open houses and pair the two of
Do
them
you think
together.
we need to ask the listing agents? Okay.
Yes. You still need to ask the listing agent if it's okay. You just say, hey, I'm going to do a Facebook Live walkthrough and get some eyes on your property. Is that all right with your seller? And they'll usually have you schedule it through Showing Time as a preview. And yeah, no problem.
Awesome.
All right. Was this good for you guys? Did you like listening to the brand new agent?
Today
Was
was
that
awesome.
good?
Thank
Yes.
you.
I was excited when I found her last night. I am going to send you guys an email with some other social media stuff that I found last night when I was preparing that I just can't figure out how to get it to you good here on the screen. And then I'm also going to send you her name. I would recommend you friend her if she has room in her Facebook or you like her business page, because you know at Keller Williams we're all about R&D, right? Does everybody know what R&D means? So would she be a pretty good source of how to model? Remember we talked about
Yes.
modeling? We talked about modeling when we were talking about EMP. Wouldn't she be somebody to model our Facebook business page after? Maybe. All right. All right. We got 10 minutes to script practice.
I gotta go. I apologize.
Oh, look
I'm
at
sorry.
you.
I unfortunately do too today.
We better do script practice first.
All right. You got to practice though. Promise me if you're not going to practice with us, you're going to practice with somebody.
Okay.
Today.
Promise.
Okay. All right. So let's see how many that leaves. And then I'll get you guys out where you guys can go practice a little bit. What do you want to practice today? Here's my recommendation. You guys can practice anything you want, but my recommendation is to practice Thanksgiving calls, care calls, right? And then use the Ford questions, right? To see if they've got any real estate needs. Do you guys remember Ford?
Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams.
Absolutely. All right. So that leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Awesome. Perfect number. All right. So I will see you guys in 10 minutes. I'm going to pop in and check on you guys too.
Okay.
Just so you know, you never know when you're being watched. It's getting to close to Santa time, right?
Oh, what's that again?
I said I'm going to pop in and check in and see how you're doing. It's getting close to Santa time, right?
Oh, yeah. See if we're naughty or nice.
Make sure we're script practicing. I'm not checking on you. I just want to make sure everything's going all right. All right. I'll see you in a bit.
Hey, Carla, was you supposed to put me in the breakout room?
You have to click on a little green box
Okay, I
somewhere.
see. It says share.
No, at the top, there should be a little box that says to go to
Oh, I
your
see.
breakout
It's
room.
like white. Yeah. Okay, here we
So for those of you that are still here, if you want to script practice, there should be a little white box and you just click on that and it'll take you to your room. Are you gonna go script practice? You just want to talk to me for a couple minutes. We only got 3 minutes left.
Oh, are you seeing me, hearing
I
me?
can see you. Yeah. Everybody else is off in their breakout room script practicing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, what happened was, as we were in the middle of that, the agent called me about, now we're doing that repair, what's it called? The repair
Inspection.
correction. Yeah, and I was nervous because my mom was having me put stuff on there. Like, she was like, it was a lot. And she's like, well, I think we should do that. And I said, you know what? What can they do but turn around and say, no, we don't accept it? I said, let's let them come back at it. But she seemed like they were fine with everything. So I was like, yes. So anyway,
It doesn't
that's
always
not, that's,
work that way. I'm going to tell you one thing that you can do next time with your buyer when it's not
okay.
when it's not your mama. It probably won't work with your mama.
I know.
But one thing that you can do is you can say this. So after we ask for things, then they can come back and say no for some things and yes for some things. So we want to make sure that we have prioritized what we want, because if we ask for 20 things and they come back and say 10 things and the 10 things that they picked weren't the 10 things that were most important to you, you may not get things that are most important to you fixed.
Okay, got it.
Let's make sure we prioritize the list, and that helps them cull it down a little bit.
Can I show you what I did? I took the 34 pages, then we took the summary, and then I listed item 1, we want the licensed plumber to do these 5 items. Item 2, we want the electrician to do these 2 items. And number 3, buyer to complete all the rest of the repairs for a reduction of $2,000 in sale price.
Perfect. That's perfect.
And I mean, she's like, okay, well, what if they don't want to do anything? What price would that take for that to do? And I'm like, okay, that works too, right? Because we'll just do the rest of it, you know?
And the other thing that you can do, you just have to check with the lender. This is a cash.
Okay. Well, there's no, it's cash.
To make sure it's okay. But the other thing that you can do is, like, I wrote one last night where I'm having the seller write a check at closing to the contractor to do the work, because they don't have the money or we don't have the time to get it done.
Well, that's our issue now. Number 1, it took till yesterday at 11 for me to get the inspection back, right? And so, which he only took like less than 2 days, but still, it took a long time to book the inspector, right? And so I booked it the next day, but it just took a while for him to do it. And then our closing is supposed to be a week from Monday. So it's like, and there's Thanksgiving in between this. So it's, I'm like, okay, they don't have time to do work, really, right? So anyway, all right, so I'm going to get out of here. I'm headed out to Mount Washington.
I was in a breakout room and it kicked me out.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have, because it was time to come out.
Yes.
All right, I'll see you later.
Where'd my girl go?
Bye bye.
It sucks you in and then it sucks you back out. I'm sorry. It just sucks you in, sucks you out. You have good practice.
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, it's actually been a good day. Very good, productive day today.
Awesome. Thank you for that feedback. That makes me feel good, because I was a little panicked last night when my speaker canceled. So I had to get us something. So, and I didn't want it just to be for me. So I'm really thankful. I'm gonna write her a thank you note, because I'm about it. But Paulina's gonna get a thank you note from me because she saved me today.
Hey, can I just say one more thing, or I wish I would have said it all day long?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to sound ridiculous, but I'm with Adam Hergenrother's expansion team in Indy. Yes. And I just started
nice to meet you, by the way.
Hey, you too. I've got this stupid cold and I don't know what it is. So I haven't been at the office at all, because if it's something, I don't want to be passing it. But Adam Hergenrother does what he calls advance, and it's kind of like a mini family reunion for Keller Williams. And we went to it a few weeks ago. We actually went to this awesome house. But anyway, one of the gals there, this sounds ridiculous because I'm 40 something years old, but they have so much success on TikTok videos. That's what I said, TikTok videos. I'm not 12, but if everybody wants to go to TikTok, I'm not ever doing a dancing video. I'm just telling you that now. But I think it's Realtor Michelle. I don't know what I am. Realtor Michelle.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I did do a TikTok video with a couple other realtors. It was it was like where you would dress down or whatever and get whatever wear, and then you was dressed up, more real estate, but it was Don't Rush Challenge. So I did do that.
Well, I listened. She's like, if you don't know what song to use, and as we were sitting there, I just did a video, and I did it because I had taken pictures of this house we were at. It's in Greenwood on the south side, Harry Cooler Convention Center or whatever. It's just real retro. It's really cool. Anyway, I did have some people on there make some snarky comments. I don't know who they are, but hey, you're talking about me and I don't know who you are, so I don't really care, but whatever. But she did say like TikTok's the next up. I've made a few since, like my open house ones. I use that song "Welcome to My House," and I have no clue what I'm doing on there. My girls, my 13-year-old twins, they do a fabulous job on TikTok. I do not, but I just want to throw that out there. Another thing, but if you all follow, if we all would follow each other on all the social media platforms, and I think that helps a lot too. And then my last thing was, I will ask, we get sent stuff to ask on Facebook, like 8 different things every Monday morning we can post on there. Sometime I come up with my own, but asking people what type of pie they like best. I mean, I think I had 150 people answer. Do I really care what type of pie all my Facebook friends like? No, but are they all on my page talking about it and get a notification every time someone else says? Yes. And then I could very well post the next day that, hey, who's looking for this? Or I have a buyer looking for this. They're not going to say anything, but I know that they've seen it, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And engagement increases the amount of, so any engagement that you can get, if you had 150 people engage with a post, then those 150 people are now going to see your other posts, right? Because that's how the algorithm works with Facebook. So
exactly. And when you
post Facebook friends, if we aren't Facebook friends, I meant to mention this earlier before people started jumping off. Most of you are already, but some of the new ones you're not. It's Carla Higgins. Find me. Or my business page is Carla Has the Key. But I want to invite you to a wealth building group that one of the leaders at Keller Williams is created. And some of you, I think I've already invited you and you've already got invited, but it's going to be pretty exciting as far as wealth building and your profit share, passive income, like another way to have some additional income. So watch for that. All right, it's Matt King, by the way. He's a OP and a regional director in like the St. Louis area. So,
Carla, what's your profile picture look like?
Well, let me find it.
There's a lot of Carla Higgins that came up.
I think are we not already friends?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're Tamika Classy T. Gilbert.
Yes.
I'm adding you as a friend right now. I guess we are not.
Okay.
So I fixed that.
Will you add me, Carla? Melissa Beasley?
Yes, let me find you.
I just started following the Carla Has the Key. And I started following you, Tamika, on Instagram, and you, Michelle.
All right, Melissa, I'm going to find, do you have a St. Jude shirt on in your profile picture?
No.
There's a whole bunch of Melissa Beasleys. You have lots of sisters.
Oh, I didn't know that. No, it's just my face.
Okay, I will find you. If you liked my Carla Has the Key, I will find you and we will connect.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, you guys have an awesome day. Thanks for spending your time with me this morning. You guys impressed me. You guys are doing so awesome. I'm so grateful for you guys. Was this good for you? And everybody got a good couple hours.
And I'm grateful for you as well.
Same
Because
here.
she always
Same
has
here.
to. Miss Charlie just wanted to say hello.
Hey, Charlie.
She's been here
Happy
the whole time.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I'll send emails, but we won't have workshop next Saturday, and we'll be back at it the following Saturday.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Carla.
Bye.
Thanks, Michelle. It's nice to meet you. I look forward to meeting you in person.
Yes, soon.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.